Hey YouTube, I'm sorry, I was doing the carburetor praying. Every time that I put a carburetor together, I pray. Believe it or not, it can happen. You put everything nice, you do it right, you clean it, it's pristine, it's surgically fine, and it doesn't work. It happens. It's less, if you do everything right, you have less chance that to happen, but well. We have here a Rochester, huge Rochester. This belongs to an Oldsmobile 442. It's got huge place. This thing close, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, approximately 800 CFM. It's got a lot of capabilities from airflow. A lot of people don't like this carburetor. They say let's put a hole in better. But a lot of people know how to put them together, how to make it run fine, and they like it, and it's original. That's what comes in the 442. So I already cleaned the whole carburetor as good as possible without being too aggressive to remove the finish. You see they still have that greenish finish, but it's clean. All the passages are clean. Something very important to point, these 4 plugs, you need to make sure that they're sealed properly. What you do is you put soapy water and you spray through the mains and through the secondaries hose, and you make sure that it doesn't bubble. If it bubbles, you may be leaking fuel into the intake manifold, you may be running rich, you may be having your bowl empty, and in your next start the engine is going to be flooded. This is typical when you remove the carburetor and you see on the intake manifold fuel. This may be the cause. I'm not going to do anything because they're sitting fine, so there's nothing to be done here. So I'm going to prepare to put it together now. We're putting the primary main jets on. These jets, they work with the needle on, so they're huge, but with the needle there is a restriction on the flow and they're not that big for what it's supposed to be. They're correct, they're factory ones, I haven't changed them. Something very important, you see a huge screwdriver that it fits properly on the jets. Every brass piece that you're going to tighten a carburetor, if it doesn't fit properly, it's going to break. Thank you, Harbor Freight. This hole here, it's for the one-way valve on the accelerator pump. It takes a little ball like this one. You put it in, you tap it when you replace it to make sure that it sits properly. I like to put a hair of lubricant, it's going to be dissolved with the fuel anyways, so it sits properly, and this is the plug that holds it in place. What this does is makes that the circuit from here to the injectors, it's filled with fuel, so every time you're going to pump, it's already pre-primed. It's like a stay primed on the accelerator. Here's the needle valve. It's an unusual design that we have. It's not screwed into the carburetor body. It has 2 O-rings and it's pressed in. This is the original one. It gave me a little bit of work to take it out because it was there. It was in the carburetor body, pretty tough in. We see that the diameters are basically the same. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. This is very important because this may restrict the amount of gasoline that I can go in the bowl on full throttle, and it's important to be there at the. So this is where it goes. Remember, this is brass. You want to be gentle with brass. For a socket that it fits right on the seat, like this one. The new one, it's in place. We put some lubricant on the O-rings. Expensive one. It's expensive. It's good. I'm gonna put on that. It looks over all the way in. Two, 3 more taps. It's a rubber mallet anyways. We're not being too aggressive with this. No dirt. It's good, beautiful. Here's the needle we're replacing. We're putting the holder in the new one. Make sure it has enough tension. Here's where it sits down. Here we're putting the float together with the needle. It's a little bit, it's not tricky, but it's a unusual way that it seems that it doesn't do nothing, but it holds its center in place, the needle, and where it's supposed to go. It's important for it to go all the way down, because if not,